everybody, and welcome back to the internet's best reactions. Today we are talking about the Russian Grand Prix around Sochi, and yes, usually every single year we think it's going to be a dull bore fest because, well, literally Mercedes have never been beaten at the Russian Grand Prix, ever. Just in the history of Formula 1, never been beaten. However, qualifying, the race, everything was epic, as were your reactions, so let's dive into them right now. Let's start at the very beginning, shall we? We had Lando Norris on pole position. Yeah, just casual. Then you had Carlos Sainz next to him, George Russell in P3, Lewis Hamilton P4, Max Verstappen and Leclerc at the back, so is Bottas. Absolutely teed up to perfection, and the start of the race was chaotic. At JM Honeycutt 8, race start be like, I didn't know who to look at. What was going on? Should I be looking at the front? Should I be looking at Lewis trying to get through? Should I be looking at where Verstappen is, Bottas, etc., etc.? And it was just chaotic. Of course, Carlos Sainz took the lead because Lando Norris was just punching the biggest hole down towards turn 2. Even though he got an amazing start, you just don't want to be on pole position at Russia. At Nah So Small, Carlos as he passes Lando, I was really hoping that those two weren't going to come together because a bromance is a bromance. You know, Rosberg and Hamilton, they were bros in karting, but then as soon as they start clashing in Formula 1 for victories, that's when we have a problem. And I was hoping we weren't going to get the same with Norris and Sainz. We didn't. They had a great, lovely little battle out in front. But I'm not looking forward to the day that they do come together. At Bruce Force something, I can't say the rest of your name just in case we get demonetised. Tsunoda drops 8 places on the first lap. I know Yuki is there for next year, but he needs to buck his ideas up if he's going to be kept in Formula 1 for the foreseeable. It's just a bit difficult to watch. Now, not only was Tsunoda one of the drivers to have a bad start, so did Hamilton, down to 7th place after Fernando Alonso doing a very interesting tactic at the start. We'll get into that shortly. At Daniel Boatic, Hamilton having to fight Alonso again. This time, fortunately for Lewis, he was able to get through pretty quickly. Although you did wonder whether Fernando was going to hold him up for another 50 laps like he did. Well, not that many, but you just wondered if he was going to hold him for the entire race. But it wasn't him. But there was a massive slipstream train up ahead with George Russell, wasn't there? Oh, George sitting in P3 for ages until his strategy screwed him over. So, another slipstream train causing an amazing race because when the qualifying grid is mixed up and they can't pass, we get random people winning. Or nearly winning. I did mention about the Alonso starts. Let's talk about it. At H. Poquet, Alonso about track limits at the start. Now, I heard in commentary that he actually practiced going straight on at turn 2 to see how quickly he could go through there. Now, Fernando did not make any attempt to slow down for turn 2 on lap 1. He flew through there, and I'm pretty sure came out in about P3 before he got overtaken by a few cars. That was naughty as anything, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit. I was like, Fernando, come on! It reminded me of when he was having his last race for McLaren at Abu Dhabi, and he was just corner cutting everywhere trying to get his one final point in Formula 1. So, Fernando is a crafty, crafty man, but you got to appreciate just the fact he's willing to risk it. At Joe Palmer 27's coming in, basically sort of visualised exactly what I was saying about Lando off the start. Lando Norris down to turn 1. You don't want to start on pole. It's just as simple as that. At Reese_Young14, all aboard the DRS train. And that it was. George Russell was quick in a straight line. I bet Lewis Hamilton was actually a bit gutted that he had a Mercedes in the back of that Williams in order to be pretty quick down the straights because he caused an almighty train behind him. But, to be fair to him, was actually catching Carlos Sainz towards the end. Carlos's tyres just flew off a cliff and it pretty much ruined his strategy and maybe a chance at the victory, although finishing P3 at the end was something he'll definitely take. I was about to say spoiler alert. Why are you tuning in if you don't want spoilers? At Alec94, that Bottas defence. Now, of course, you will know exactly what defence I'm talking about. Max Verstappen going up the inside. Turn 14, I think it is, maybe. Don't quote me on that. But up the inside of Bottas anyway, into that sort of 90-degree right. Then you have the 90-degree left. And I actually thought it was a really good move because it's on a Mercedes, which is pretty quick, but also Bottas just continuing the trend of not being able to defend like at all. Like he's one of the worst defending drivers on the grid, and I'll happily stand behind that. There's another tweet at AJ Lewis 02, Bottas doing absolutely nothing to defend his position. Traditions. Oh, that meme. That meme hasn't actually got old for me, so I'm going to continue to include it when it's the right time, when it fits beautifully in with the caption. And this time it has.
Who has won Tweet of the Week?
Right, Tweet of the Week time now, and this time it comes from @MoLucky, who wins an amazing Fanatec prize. Bottas to stop Verstappen. Now, I've seen this meme format before, but this did make me laugh very much. So, yeah, that's I think even that, like, I guess it's a crisp, isn't it? It's like one of those, like, salt and vinegar crisp things. That's actually probably a bit generous. I genuinely think it's unlocked. There's nothing there. So well done, @MoLucky. You win an amazing Fanatec prize. We'll be in your DMs very soon. Now, this tweet made me laugh, and I'm definitely going to put this as runner-up. So I'm sorry, @Munford1999, but it was so close, yet so far. Max, Seb and Leclerc be like. Of course, you had Seb and Charles both battling really hard in the middle sector. Then Max just wanted to pop a little nose in because he saw the opportunity. Leclerc was like, absolutely not, my friend. And that was so close to having his front left wheel just ripped completely off. So you have to say, Max showing some patience, which some people, including myself, sometimes argue that maybe he doesn't have that patience sometimes, but that was the correct decision and Max stayed in the race and finished P2. Now, before I continue, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're trying to hit 1 million subscribers, maybe by the end of the year if something crazy happens, but either or, it'd be an amazing Christmas present, if not the start of 2022. We've got loads of content coming up. This F1 season is a banger, and I know a lot of you aren't subscribed but love tuning into this series, so please click the subscribe button and I'll love you forever. Getting Spooky, Lando and Carlos right now. They had a lovely little ding-dong, didn't they? Carlos looked quicker at times, then Lando was closing in, then they pulled away again, and then Lando got through, and the TV direction didn't show it. The TV direction for the Russian Grand Prix was absolutely shocking. I'm sorry, but we missed a literal change of the lead watching something very insignificant, and the amount of times I saw a little position change on the leaderboard, just a little green up or red down, and nothing. They didn't even use the mini box. Where's the mini box? I'll take the mini box over nothing, even though I don't really like the mini box because you can't really see what's going on that well. But at least show us, either in the mini or the big, the overtake and not just on the graphic. Rant done. And if almost by magic, @WillAmos13, changes of race lead? Nah, don't show it, it's fine. Didn't want to watch that live. Neither did I. Neither did I, Will. That wasn't rage-inducing. No, actually, no, it was. It was incredibly rage-inducing, and I wanted to see it, especially when it's two drivers who have never won a race. And also, the TV direction later on when Lando was on dry tyres and wet conditions. We were watching Lewis, fly around on the inters. Show us Lando, who could be in a wall at any second. I should also include @info_Mueller1. Carlos and Lando battle at the front. It was lovely, wasn't it? It was lovely to have those two at the front, having a very nice, clean battle, and also bros. They're bros. And, their relationship was amazing to watch at McLaren, and to see them both at the front. Formula One is in great hands, you have to say. You had Russell, Norris, Sainz, all at the front of the field after qualifying. When Hamilton decides to, hang up his boots, we've got an amazing fight between those. Verstappen, Leclerc. We've got a very good 10-15 years ahead of us, Formula One fans. Now, I mentioned about the slipstream train, which was really frustrating for Hamilton, and he was looking for a place to pit. @AnfungDuck1. I love this meme so much. Hamilton prepared to get in the pits. Ricciardo pits. Hamilton. They did this twice, actually, Mercedes. They did this twice where they came out, ready to pit, and then went back in again, which can be seen as bluffing and a little bit of a dummy, which is not allowed in Formula One, apparently, but I never see any Formula One teams actually penalised for it, especially Mercedes, who seem to do it quite a lot. So, yeah, that was a little bit frustrating because you're like, I'm pretty sure that's in the rules. Where are the stewards? Where's the warning, at least? Now, the beauty of the race was not only the fact that we had carnage, but also the strategy behind it. We didn't really know where anyone was going to end up. Were the early pitters going to come through? Were the late stoppers going to be the ones to take advantage? @Jeffrey Nedeloff, this race is pure tactics. Everyone was baffled. I was sat there going, I have no idea who's going to win this race. And then, lap 48, whatever it was, here comes rain. I know I keep teasing about talking about it, but it's on my mind. I'm sorry. Before the rain, though, of course, Lando was doing a brilliant job holding back Lewis Hamilton, who did catch him very quickly, but as we've saw with pretty much every battle on track, it was very difficult to pass around Sochi. Formula 2 Insider, POV, you're looking at Lando Norris's mirrors. And to be fair, considering it was a driver trying to get their first win, and a driver trying to get their 100th win, and Lando holding his own. It doesn't matter about the result. The fact he was able to have the minerals, I know you like that phrase, and that's the phrase I'm going to use, the minerals to hold on and not bottle it and, lock up or whatever. Of course, some people will be like, oh, he bottled the strategy and didn't pit. I'll get on to that. But in terms of the dry conditions, out in front, seemed very calm. It was impressive. At Diltham94, watching Lewis Hamilton chasing down Lando Norris. Now, I know there are a lot of Lando fans out there, so Lando fans that are tuning in right now, let me know in the comment section below what you were feeling during those laps, especially when it started to spit with rain, but also before he was leading for quite a lot of the race. Were we feeling calm, completely and utterly anxious and destroyed? Because I feel like if you are a die-hard Lando Norris fan, you wouldn't have enjoyed that race much at all, because you just can't relax. Now, we have mentioned Bottas, but this is a good meme. At MasterSebi92, Bottas not having a good race in Russia. Not traditions. But the man just... How on earth has Valtteri sat in 14th for pretty much the entire race? And come the end of the race, he's finished 5th. I mean, the rain, of course, but how has he finished in P5? I don't know. Right, it's about that time where we talk about the rain, because you'll kind of understand how this meme kind of links with it. At _Markowski. There's no context, but it's almost no context WTF1 right now. We know what this is for. Of course, the rain starts to come down. Now, for people being like, oh my god, Lando should have pit, why did he not listen to his team? I have looked at the transcript, and not once have McLaren said you have to box, it is going to be raining. Now, I'm sorry if I've missed it, but I've looked at the transcript. Unless they have omitted that from that transcript, you can't be having a go at Lando, who is leading the race, got Lewis Hamilton right behind him, going, well, I've got, 4 laps to go. I'll just stick it out if you don't think, the rain's going to be horrific. Of course, if McLaren are like, it's 100% going to be bad, pit him. I'm not going to go on too much of a rant, but you can't have a go at Lando for being like, no, I'm going to hold on to this and carry on for the next 4 laps. Because if it stopped raining and he pitted for Inters and Hamilton carried on, it looked like a mug. I reckon Hamilton probably wouldn't have pitted anyway had Lando come into the pits. So then obviously Lewis would have looked like the mug. But just be a bit kinder. I don't think Lando was in the wrong for taking it into his own, his own sort of, I'm losing words. Taking his own thoughts. That was not a good word for what I was hoping to come out, but you know what I mean. He just went for it. At L_Boar, no Lando. I think everyone was as shocked as this. We'd all kind of almost started to believe that Lando was going to win. Just how? I was convinced Lewis was going to just drive up to Lando and go past him. But of course, a little bit further into the stint, Lewis is using some of his tyres to catch Lando. And he didn't seem to have enough in the locker to pass him in dry conditions. And then Lando stayed out and the heavens literally opened. Literally 1 lap later, and it was a river. It was very unlucky for Lando, you have to say. At _Duran_, everyone when Lando lost the lead. Not just that, Lando lost the lead, and it was about 50 seconds to Verstappen, and you're thinking, okay, if he just trundles back to the pits, he might be all right. It took him, I'm not even sure, 1.5 minutes just to get through the middle and last sector. Maybe even more, maybe 2 minutes, because Verstappen caught him before Lando had even got in the pits. Oh dear. Some people think that, I don't like Lewis Hamilton or whatever. It's not that. It's the fact that there's underdogs coming through that have not won a race. And you just want to see it. You just want to see a new person on the block winning. It's just a feel-good moment. At Formula Miguel, every McLaren and Lando fan right now. And I think a lot of other fans, I see myself as a relative neutral, to be honest. I just want to see a great fight for the lead. I don't really care who wins. Obviously, as I say, I love to see an underdog come through. But you also have to appreciate the greatness of Lewis Hamilton. So 100 race wins for Lewis. As I tweeted earlier on my personal account, it's incredible. The only reason some of us, including myself, root against him is because he is literally perfection, and someone beating, or literally perfection, but as close to perfection as we've seen in Formula 1, that anybody taking it to him is like, whoa, this is awesome. At Colson483, Hamilton, after most people thought he wasn't going to win, he is usually inevitable. I mean, what else is there to say? You always expect Lewis to come through, and he did today, and he made the right strategy call with Mercedes. McLaren and Lando made the wrong call. It was a gamble, and Lewis came out on top. And finally, to sum up at Davog TV, Lando Norris so close to his first F1 victory. Now I know that joke, including for myself, is a little bit early. It's a little bit raw, so I apologise, but it's included anyway because it's internet's best reactions, and eventually we'll be able to appreciate that when Norris has 10 race wins under his belt. But right now, we're all hurting, I know. Right, social media team championship time now, and well, I think you know at least one team that's going to be featuring in some way. So let's dive into the top 3 from the Russian Grand Prix. In third place is said team, McLaren F1. I'm giving them a point because my heart is also broken for them, even though they've literally just come off the back of a 1-2 at Monza. So, you know, I'm sure they'll take it on the chin. But at the same time, Lando's first win, the heartbreak, it's 1 point. Well done, McLaren. In second place, we have Alpine F1 team. Now, this is a very clever meme. I really enjoyed this, the Spider-Man meme, and the way they've shot that. I wouldn't have seen that unless they said, even took me a few seconds to realise exactly what they were on about. And then when it clocked, lovely points, well done. And finally, the winners of the Russian Grand Prix for the Social Media Team Championship are Aston Martin Cognizant F1 team. Haas F1 team, rematch, and then that picture. That picture of Seb, I mean, he loves a bit of football, doesn't he? He wants another rematch with Mick, and I want to see a full 90-minute football match with those two involved. I just do. Give it to us, please. That's 1 point for McLaren, 2 points for Alpine F1, and 3 points for Aston Martin.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
Race rundown time now, let's do it. Let's just bang it out. There actually are 19 finishers, so this could be fun. Here we go. The finishers of the Russian Crazy Grand Prix are Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Ricciardo, Bottas, Alonso, Norris, Raikkonen, Perez, Russell, Stroll, literally, I get excited and anxious when I start to do it first time. My body just starts tensing. What would Lando have felt like driving in a Formula 1 race and nearly winning his first race? I don't know. I mean, I get nervous over race rundown. Here we go. Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Ricciardo, Bottas, Alonso, Norris. Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Ricciardo, Bottas, Alonso. Hamilton, Verstappen, Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Ricciardo, Bottas, Alonso, Norris, Raikkonen P8, by the way. Can we just say that is a great performance from Kimi? Anyway, Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Ricciardo, Bottas, Alonso, Norris, Raikkonen, Perez, Russell, Stroll, Vettel, Gasly, Ocon, Leclerc, Giovinazzi, Tsunoda, Mazepin, Latifi. That'll do. And the non-finishers were Schumacher. That's it, Schumacher. That's it, Schumacher. Schumacher's it. We almost got a 20 finisher race. That's the one. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching the internet's best reactions to the Russian Grand Prix. Thank you to Fanatec as ever for sponsoring this series, and thank you to you for getting involved as always. Hashtag WTF1 if you want to be featured for the next race, which is around Turkey, I believe. Can't wait. I mean, Turkey is one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. Gonna be awesome. Of course, we will have the podcast out tomorrow and all the beautiful content as you would always expect from us. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon for another video. Bye-bye!